Tonight, CBS Broadcasting Network presents everybody's favorite detective, bringing an exciting case of intrigue and suspense. This is Ken Woods in the Salty Shakedown. My work is all about observation. The time between the crime and the pointing of fingers. Well, that's the time when I come in. My name is Detective Ken Woods. My job? Simple. Solve the crimes and bring in the crooks. Our case begins in Shifty Rock, Idaho, a small mountain town in the Rockies. The victim? One Mr. James Henley, a millionaire who made his money in the salt mines. The crime? Murder. As I arrived at Mr. Henley's estate, I was greeted by the town sheriff. He filled me on the details of the crime scene.
Well, Detective, Mr. Henley was a millionaire but kept quiet in the community. His housekeeper found him dead around 4:30 this afternoon. It appears that the cause of the death could all be chalked up to his inability to properly chew his food. We were able to pull a bit of pork chop out of his throat. This case is pretty simple, but I figured I'd better get you down here to check everything out anyways.
Sheriff, how old was Mr. Henley?
Mr. Henley was 84 years old.
And where is Mrs. Henley?
Mr. Henley was never married.
Did he entertain a lot of women?
Why is that of any significance?
Someone had to leave the lipstick container on the counter, unless Mr. Henley led an alternative lifestyle. Everything is a clue, Sheriff. Where is this housekeeper that found Mr. Henley? I'd like to ask her a few questions. Mrs. Ramona was Mr. Henley's housekeeper. She was a short Taiwanese woman, barely 5 foot tall. She had a round face, black hair, and black eyes. She wore thin-rimmed glasses that she continually pushed up on her nose. I thought it best to hear her story before I made any assumptions. Mrs. Ramona?
Yes?
My name is Detective Ken Woods. I'd like to know how you came to find Mr. Henley this afternoon.
Well, every Tuesday and Thursday I come to Mr. Henley's home to clean. I arrived this morning at around 9. I was upstairs cleaning until about 3 or 4:30. I was thirsty, so I came downstairs to get a glass of water.
This glass next to Mr. Henley wouldn't happen to be the same glass you drink your water from, would it?
No, I've never seen that glass in my life.
Right. Did you find Mr. Henley when you went to get a drink?
Yes, I came into the kitchen, and that's when I saw Mr. Henley. I called his name, but he didn't respond. I thought he was playing a trick on me, so I walked over to him, and his eyes were glazed over, and he wasn't breathing, so I called the police, and you all came right over. I guess I've just been shaken up ever since.
So you came downstairs around 4:30, you say?
Yes.
Well, Mrs. Ramona, our guess is that Mr. Henley died between 4 and 5 o'clock this afternoon, possibly as you were heading down the stairs. How is it that you did not hear any sort of commotion coming from the kitchen?
I don't know. I have bad hearing. I often play the radio while I clean. Perhaps the radio was playing too loud for me to hear anything.
Perhaps. Do you remember seeing anything at all out of the ordinary today?
Not really. Everything was pretty much like it always is.
Mrs. Ramona, who else has been in the house with you and Mr. Henley today?
I was the only one in the house that I know of, but this is a big house. People come and go quite often.
There seems to be a breeze coming into the room. Do you always leave this kitchen window open in the fall?
The kitchen window? No, I closed that earlier when I was cleaning.
Is it possible that Mr. Henley opened the window himself before he died?
No, Mr. Henley had arthritis in both arms and could not lift things very high above his waist. He's been that way ever since he had an accident in one of his mines. He always needed my help opening and closing things like cupboards and windows.
Is it true that you asked Mr. Henley to loan you money last week and he turned you down?
Yes.
His refusal obviously made you furious.
No, I was never angry. Yes, I desperately need the money to pay for my children's school books, but when Mr. Henley said no, I was fine. I would never want anything bad to happen to Mr. Henley. He was a great boss.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Ramona. That'll be all for now. Sheriff?
Yes, Detective.
Why is Mr. Henley still sitting in this chair? If you were choking, would you simply stay seated while you struggled?
I wouldn't.
Exactly. Did you notice the mud that was caked on the windowsill? And did you notice that the glass placed by Mr. Henley didn't match any of the other glasses in this room? Also, there's a strange residue on the inside of the glass.
What do you suppose it means?
We will find out shortly. Who else has been on Mr. Henley's property today?
Well, Mr. Henley has a niece that is staying in his guest house across the yard, and he has a groundskeeper, Mr. Joseph Parson. He has been tending to the yard all day.
Let's visit this Mr. Parson and ask him a few questions. Mr. Parson was an interesting character, a tall and very slender man with lanky arms and legs. His face was long and coated with sweat, so much so that his handkerchief was almost useless. He wore stained overalls and sat on the grass with a large bag of powdered grass fertilizer, and he had a series of tools placed according to their height beside him. He was intently focused on his work, so focused, in fact, that he did not hear us approach him. Mr. Parson? Mr. Parson? Mr. Joseph Parson, I presume.
Yes, that's me. What can I do for you today?
Mr. Parson, my name's Detective Ken Woods, and I'm here to ask you a few questions.
Well, what's happened?
I'm hoping your cooperation will lead me to that answer.
Anything. I'm an open book.
Good. Mr. Parson, walk me through your day so far.
Sure. Well, I arrived at precisely 10 a.m., and the first thing I did was check all the equipment in the shed.
Can you be more specific?
Well, I checked the lawnmower and the other mechanical equipment for any problems. For instance, today I discovered a hole in one of the garden hoses, and consequently the reason why my garden sprinkler was losing water pressure. I left for the store at 11, and I returned from purchasing the new garden hose at 11:30. After that, I surveyed the shed to make sure everything was in its place.
What all is in your shed, Mr. Parson?
Well, the shed contains all the lawn and garden equipment that I use. I check the shed daily and make sure everything is working properly. I'm very adamant about keeping things in order.
I see. And everything was as it should be?
I didn't notice anything out of order. At least not until I came out to the yard here.
What is it you noticed here?
Well, I mowed the backyard and everything was exactly as it should be. When I came back to the front yard, I discovered these strange holes right here. Do you see these holes poked into the grass? I've been filling them in for the past hour. It's the strangest thing. They seem to lead up to the kitchen window.
How do you suppose these holes got here?
Well, that's just it. I've never seen anything like this before.
Mr. Parson, the reason we are here is because your boss, Mr. Henley, was found dead in his kitchen today.
How did this happen?
Well, it looks like he may have choked on his dinner, but we are investigating other options.
What other options?
We are not at liberty to discuss that at this time.
Figures.
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted Mr. Henley dead?
Well, Mr. Henley was a fierce businessman. He even screwed me out of a few business deals back in the day, but I can't think of anyone that would want him dead.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary today?
Well, today's been pretty quiet. At least nothing strange beyond these holes in the grass.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Parson.
You're very welcome, gentlemen.
Cheery fellow, isn't he? You mentioned that Mr. Henley had a house guest staying on his property.
That's right, his niece.
Let's meet this niece of his. Mr. Henley's niece was a school-age girl, my guess early 20s. She was short and made up for it by wearing high heels that gave her a couple more inches. When she answered the door, I noticed she was wearing a dark shade of lipstick. She was either returning or planning on heading out.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
You are Mr. Henley's niece, is that correct?
Yes, Detective. I'm Victoria Henley.
You're very perceptive. What gave me away?
The trench coat and magnifying glass.
Miss Henley, may I ask you a few questions about your day?
Come in. I don't know anything about my uncle's death, if that's what you're after.
How do you know about your uncle's death?
It's pretty hard to miss all of the police officers walking around, Detective. I simply asked one of them what the commotion was about.
So you know why I'm here, then. Can you tell me where you were today around 4 o'clock?
I had an appointment in town this morning, and I returned just about an hour or so ago.
Anything else?
I don't see the reason my whereabouts would affect my uncle's death.
Is there anyone that can provide you with an alibi from 4 to 5 o'clock tonight?
I'm afraid not, and I don't appreciate all of these questions, Detective.
I apologize. It's just standard procedure. Miss Henley, are you close with your uncle?
No, I'm only staying here while I attend school.
Did you have company last night? There seemed to be an awful amount of glasses here on the table.
It's none of your concern, but yes, I did entertain some friends last night. However, no one that would interest you in your current search.
We'll see about that. Your glassware has a very interesting design. Where did you get them?
If you must know, Mrs. Ramona got them for me as a birthday present a few weeks ago. They happen to be handmade by her brother.
Miss Henley, how is your relationship with your uncle?
I don't see him very often. When I do see him, it usually leads to an argument about my choice of friends.
Would you say that you disliked your uncle?
We don't see eye to eye very often.
I've noticed that you have a large amount of high-heeled dress shoes.
Is fashion a crime, Detective?
No, of course not. I think we've taken up enough of your time. Thank you very much for allowing us in.
Like I had much of a choice.
For a girl who loves fashion, she is terrible at keeping track of it.
What do you mean, sir?
She was missing the right shoe of her pair of silver heels.
So?
So it means I've figured out what happened to Mr. Henley.
Do you feel like the odd man out at the water cooler? Without a cigarette in your hand, you may very well be the butt end of a joke. For discriminating taste, make your next purchase a Pulp cigarette. The cigarette you don't smoke, only hold. This is Pulp Cigarette returning you to Ken Woods.